Great. Without further ado, we're going to move on to our final presentation just before we do some association news and updates. So John Horsley, very own BPCA John Horsley, is going to pop up any minute. There he is. Oh no,
there's a bit of a lag.
bit of a lag.
Here we go.
A couple of people are struggling with the technology today, aren't they? It's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but there is just a little bit of a lag. So hopefully the presentation should just pop up now. And
fabulous. Well, you're going to talk to us about the qualification framework, isn't it, and the future of pest qualification. So I'll let you do your thing, John. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Oh no, what have I done now? Hold on.
Uh-oh. It wouldn't be a proper.
Has the presentation gone off? Or have I just...
I can see it. No, it's still there.
Okay, I've just moved the view. Give me 1 second.
Okay, no worries. Multiple screens. Great.
Yeah,
I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So my name's John. I work for the BPCA. I look after the sort of training and festival development of qualifications. And this is something that I've been working on for probably the last 9 months or so, and has formed part of one of my projects. There's been loads of talk about qualification frameworks. I know we've done videos on it recently, and there's been other things going on in the industry. So I've just sort of come on today to try and clear up some of these, communications that have been out there, give you an opportunity to ask some questions, and hopefully trying to put a bit more meat on the bones with what qualifications may look like in the future. One thing I will say before I start is keep doing qualifications. All the current qualifications are there. You can do them. They will exist in some form, and I will get into that as we go through this. But don't stop doing qualifications because it might change. Keep doing all the qualifications that we have. They are good qualifications. Things that are going to change around them will change in the future, but this could be, it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years before anything changes at all. So keep doing the current qualifications that are there, keep learning, and let's keep progressing. When these changes come in, we're mindful that the changes will incorporate the current qualifications so that we can bring the industry with us, and I'll show you what that looks like very shortly. As I just mentioned, all the current qualifications will still exist. So the level 2 safe use award, doesn't matter if we change the name of them, they'll all still, if you pass it now, it's called that, so it'll still exist. Same with the level 2 award, level 2 certificate, the level 3, the CAT, the technical inspector, field biologist, they will all be qualifications that will either exist in the future or form part of a future qualification framework. The framework is just the building block, so it's that level 1 to level 5, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Like I said, there's been some confusion around this. There's no meat on the bones, as it were. So there's some assumptions that have been made around like names of qualification, how long it's going to be. None of that's been sort of set upon because we've not even finished the consultation process. This whole thing is a consultation on the new qualification framework. It's an opportunity for you to have your say on these qualifications and what we do moving forward. This proposal obviously went out in August. There is still a couple of weeks left to fill in the consultation form, and I'll get to that as we go through it. But if I can encourage everyone to fill in the consultation form, that would be fantastic because it gives us a lot of feedback that we can then progress with. The new qualification framework, the idea of this today is to just discuss what qualifications may look like and the pathway that you will be able to take, either for people who are currently in the industry, but also new people coming into the industry. And I'll outline that. It has been made clear to the steering group from RSPH that we can't just grandfather rights the current level 2. So we can't just park it. We can't turn it off. If we grandfather it, we'd have to create all new qualifications and everyone would have to do that. Same if we just park it. So we can't just turn it off. That's not an option. So we have to integrate it in some way. And as I go through, we'll get to that. I'm trying to clear up anything now so that when we get through, we can make it nice and smooth. This consultation is only on the level 3. So we're just looking at the level 3 qualification. We currently have a level 2 safe use of rodenticide. I know some people like it, some people don't. It is there, but that is an entry into the industry at the minute. The level 3 is the one that's going to cause a sticking point because we have an industry that already is level 2 qualified. We need to move them into a new qualification on the new framework, and then we can build around that. If you are currently a level 2 safe use award or level 2 certificate, there will be an option to move into the level 3 slot. If you are a CAT, a certified advanced technician, or a level 3 RSPH level 3 technician, you would be able to then move into a level 4, and every qualification that is currently existent will hopefully form part of the new framework once the framework has been agreed upon. I'm going to try and put a bit of meat on the bones. Like I said, this is only for the level 3, but I will talk about the other qualifications at different levels, just to give you a bit of an idea on where things fit in. Like I said, there's nothing been agreed on how long these qualifications may be. That's up to the industry on what they would like to see. This is just the sort of framework on where this sort of information sits. There are some things that will happen in sort of total qualification time, and that's an important thing to think about when building qualifications. But that's more about building it rather than doing it. So I will maybe talk a bit about hours and things like that, but at the minute, that's the only bit that's set in stone, just to create the bridge. Try not to get it confusing. Now, the current framework, or not framework, we have sort of these hodgepodge qualifications from various different organizations that build the qualifications within our industry. The idea of a framework is that it will be looked after by RSPH. They'll all be on RSPH and be off-qual regulated qualifications, which gives us a very straightforward structure when we look at the industry as what qualifications mean at what levels. Currently, we've got 3 level 2s that all mean something completely different. Now, that's really confusing for the pest control industry, but it's also really confusing for people like our clients, the government, when they're looking at regulating things that goes on. It makes it really confusing for standards, which qualification do you need to work on, which standard. So by having a qualification framework, it just clears up all that confusion. And hopefully I'll be able to put some meat on the bones for that today. So I'll just briefly go over this. We're going to look up a bit about the background of how this has come about. We're going to talk about the levels of qualifications. We're going to focus on the level 3 because that's what the consultation is currently out there is the current level 3. We'll look at transition of assessment. So how do we get from current qualifications to the proposed qualifications? I'll do some myth busting just to try and clear up any of that. And I'll talk about the consultation. The biggest thing today, at the end of this presentation, there will be a poll that will come up. It's based on 3 questions. So does the outline framework that I'm presenting today, will it meet the requirements of the industry? Where do you think the opportunity for specialism should be included? And I'll give you a couple of options for that. And the other question is, how likely would you or your technicians be to take a bridging qualification to bring you into the new level 3 qualification? Like I mentioned a minute ago, anyone with a current level 2, there needs to be something to bring them in line with a new level 3, because we can't just park the old level 2. And this framework is the sort of simplest way that we can move everyone from current qualifications to new qualifications and bring everyone in line. And I'll show you it, and it'll make sense when I get there. So they're the 3 questions that, if you can answer at the end, I really encourage anyone to put any Q&As in the Q&A section, and we'll get to them, and hopefully we'll have some time, and then I can address anything else. If we don't get to them today, I'll probably try and create a little short video, and I'll explain some of the questions that come in, and get that out to everyone. Okay, so how did this come about? Where did it all start from? In 2020 and 2021, the BPCA went out to consultation, and that was for the industry, not just the BPCA members. And this was, a large number of people were consulted, and they came back with feedback from that consultation. In 2021, there was a professional working group was developed, and this outlined the proposal for a new framework. So there was nothing in place at that point. It was just, we've had a consultation, it gives us this information, what do we need to do with that information? And out of that, it came that, a new framework would fit best. In 2023, in May, we engaged with stakeholders such as the MPTA, LANCHA and RSPH. At the end of 23, in September, we discussed off-qual requirements with RSPH. So we sat down with RSPH, spoke to them because they would be the preferred regulator of this qualification. So the qualifications would all sit with RSPH, and then all centres would be able to deliver them qualifications if they are an RSPH centre. Also means that it then sits on an off-qual framework. In May 24, the steering group looked at a number of different proposals, and at the time, this one came out as the best proposal that was able to take the current qualifications into the new framework, but also then create a framework for new people coming into the industry. And then in August, we went out to consultation to the industry. And at present, I think it's reached over 2,500 people just from that consultation process. So the data we're getting back is really good, but more data we have, gives us more information on what we do with this moving forward. Like I say, the consultation will go on for another couple of weeks. So what did the consultation initially come out with in 2020? Well, the sector is already working at a level 3 standard, and I can show you that a little bit later on in the presentation, but we already do a level 3 job. Other professional sectors all start their qualification at level 3. So if you look at builders, plumbers, joiners, they all start at a level 3 qualification and then move on from there. And it's also to encourage new people into the sector. So if we have a very clear pathway, it'll encourage people into the sector because they've got a very clear pathway on their qualifications, and it means something because they are Ofqual regulated, they are a professional level qualification. Now, the feedback from that consultation that I mentioned came with these 4 key points. The feedback was they wanted to drive professionalism within the industry. They wanted to demonstrate knowledge and skills. So not just have theory exams, be able to demonstrate that you are a good technician. And I think we can all agree that theory exams are never going to prove that someone is a competent technician. So the feedback from the consultation was we want to be able to demonstrate them skills, not just do theory. Provide a progressive pathway. So like I said, you've got that progression pathway. If you're a current level 2, it may give you options to do more qualifications and carry on through your what am I going to say? Carry on through your career and be able to, progress in your qualifications as you do that. And we should be recognized for the complexity of pest control. Pest control isn't a simple subject. We have to have a lot of knowledge, and we spend a lot of time learning. And every day is a school day. Even I'm still learning. I've been doing it 15 years. So every day we're learning, and we should be recognized that we are learning and we have a skilled industry. So levels 1 to 5 quite simply breaks down to level 1 is your induction. Level 2 is going to be focusing around being able to use products safely. So level 2 is your entry into the industry, gives you a background knowledge on rodents, insects, and possibly health and safety. Your core qualification is where the industry would sit at. So currently it's level 2. In the proposal, it'd be a level 3, and I'll tell you why it should be a level 3 shortly. Level 4 would be advanced, and then your higher qualifications would be sitting at level 5. So your level 1, this is sort of an introduction into pest control, a bit of a pest awareness type training. It will give you the basics around rodent control, management of pests, health and safety and legislation. This qualification is probably going to be more aimed at non-technical staff. So someone that maybe works in pest control but is non-technical. It would be aimed towards customers. So if customers want like pest awareness training, they want to have someone on site that has some knowledge of pest control, this would fit with them. And also people coming into the industry, it would provide them a course to give them an insight into the industry before they then move on to a level 2 qualification. Not everyone would take a level 1. Obviously, if you're working for a pest control company, they would probably still start you at a level 2 qualification because it would have all the information in there for you to build on. The level 2, this is where we start to see some changes. So we've used the level 2 safe user identified because it's a term that everyone uses and everyone knows. It doesn't have to be called that. The other thing these new qualifications don't have at the minute is a time. So it could be a 1-day course, it could be a 2-day course. That would be up for the industry to decide what goes into that qualification. We're not consulting on the level 2 at the minute. That will come in a future consultation process. But this is just to give you an idea on what could be sitting at level 2. And like I say, the name of it or the time it takes to do that qualification, we could change depending on what the industry wants. So at level 2, as you come into the industry, that first sort of 3 months of being in pest control, you would do a safe use of rodenticide at level 2. You would do a safe use of insecticide at level 2, and that would give you your knowledge and competency and your qualification to then go out and be able to use products and start your career within the industry. There's also the health and safety legal aspects. That qualification is actually the health and safety from the level 2 award, and we just bring it into the level 2 sort of qualification system so that when you start in the industry, you'll do a qualification in health and safety and legal aspects. And that would then give you your foundations and knowledge to work safely, but also work within legal requirements as well. So that's what would form basis of the level 2. And like I said, anything that really changes the new insecticides qualification and then moving that health and safety module from the current level 2 award into this qualification. Now, this is the level 3, so this is the one that we are currently consulting on. Now, the level 3 would incorporate your vertebrates and invertebrates from your current level 2 award. So you would keep that qualification and bring them 2 units into the new level 3. Now, they are at level 2 still. They will form a percentage of your level 3 qualification. To be able to build that qualification up to a level 3 level, you then would need to do a competency assessment. And that competency assessment, again, is not set in stone. You could have a variety of different assessment options, so you can pick one that suits your company best. Or if there's one particular one that suits the industry and it comes back in the consultation process that is the case, then there might just be one. Some options around this, it could be a professional discussion. So we use professional discussions in level 3 qualifications at the minute, and we could do that in this case. So your competency assessment could just be a professional discussion, and then that would pass you for your competency. Once you've done your competency, you then get your level 3 certificate. It could be a portfolio-based system, so like an e-portfolio. Now, we've looked at a few of these. There is an app version, and on the app, it would basically have a list of tasks. There would be maybe 20 rodent tasks, and you could pick one that might best suit what you're doing. And within that task, it will give you a list of things that you need to provide evidence for. Once you've provided that evidence, just a case of taking a photo, it will then be assessed. If it meets the level 3 requirements, you would then be given a level 3 qualification. So that's just options for competency assessments. Like I say, there are others. There's no it could be for new people coming in the industry, and for training centers, they may want to create a scenario-based competency assessment where you would go and do your exams mainly for new people coming in the industry. And while you were there, you would do your competency assessment, which would then cover things like health and safety and actually doing the job itself. If that meets the requirements for the level 3, you'd then be given a level 3 qualification. So that competency unit, like I say, there's no time frame on how long or short it will be. There are various options on what can be done in that competency unit. Because we are keeping the current qualifications, especially in the level 2 award, it does give you the option that you can stay at level 2 if you want to, but you can also bridge into the new level 3 and bring your qualification in line with the new framework. So it gives you both options, and that's entirely up to individuals if they want to come into the new qualification framework. Another thing that was highlighted in the consultation process was that a lot of people currently in the industry sit at level 2, and there's not really any training unless you go for a higher qualification. So in this proposal, when it was put together, we looked at that and thought, well, maybe there's an option to have other training courses at that level. So it might give you a opportunity to specialize at level 3 without having to go for a harder qualification. So we've picked some ones at level 3. So you'd have a core qualification, which would be vertebrates, invertebrates, and competency. And then you could add on specialisms at level 3 if you wanted to. And we just put some examples in of bird management, wildlife management, pest control in food environments, and things like bedbug management. So they could be qualifications that you could bolt on at that level. And that list is not exhausted. We can change them if you've got some ideas or you specialize in something, we want to know about it, because we might be able to incorporate that in if these are what is wanted at this level. Okay, the level 4, like I say, these have just been looked at just to put some meat on the bones with them. But level 4 is where it's seen you would be able to specialize in something. So you'd have a core qualification at level 3, then you'd be able to do a specialism at level 4. And then specialisms, again, these are not an exhaustive list. These are just some that we've put down. But it could be rodent specialist, insect specialist, bird specialist, or wildlife specialist. There is also an option for a level 4 apprenticeship. Doesn't have to be called an apprenticeship, but we all know what an apprenticeship is, so it just makes it easy for us to understand. Basically, with this new qualification framework, the industry doesn't have any funding for qualifications at the minute. So this new framework, we can look at options, and a level 4 apprenticeship or a level 4 advanced technician, whichever you want to call it, that could be a paid apprenticeship qualification. So you could have an apprenticeship there that would be funded. Also, there's industries, other industries such as, like the military is a good one. If they retrain and leave the military, they get funding for level 3 qualifications. A lot of them don't come into pest control, even though they'd like to, because our core qualification is a level 2. So by having a level 3 qualification as a core qualification, it allows other industries that fund new qualifications to be able to gain access to them qualifications as well, which would open the door to people being able to come into the industry through that route. And then your level 5, this is going to be your higher level, and at the minute the technical inspector and field biologist sitting there. That may change. Like I say, I'll go out to consultation when that level 5 is due to be designed and progressed. But currently, that's the idea, is that technical inspector and field biologist would sit in that level 5 area. So why do we need a level 3 then? So what's the idea behind this? The definitions from Ofqual sit quite clearly. A level 2 is well-defined tasks and straightforward problems. Now, a well-defined task and straightforward problem is not what we do in pest control. So then you look at the next level, which is a level 3. And this is problems, although well-defined, but could be complex environments and non-routine. That level 3 fits so much more better in what we do as an industry than a level 2 qualification. So having a core qualification at level 3 sits in line with all other industries, but it also brings us in line with Ofqual as to what their descriptors are for a level 3 qualification. So that's why we need a level 3 qualification. Some myths on this. I want to leave plenty of time for questions. RSPH can't just regrade our current level 2 to a level 3. I mentioned that earlier. We can't just say the old level 2 is equivalent to a new level 3. If you want to park the level 2, and everyone would then have to requalify, and again, not a system that's going to work, because you've already got qualifications. We need to recognize we've got them qualifications, which is why the new framework incorporates them qualifications. So yeah, we can't just regrade the current level 2 to a level 3. So what is the route? If you've already got a level 2 award or a level 2 certificate in pest management, if you go down the left-hand side, do you want to upgrade your qualification? No, fine, do nothing, that's fine. You don't have to do anything, because your qualification is still integrated into the new qualification framework. It also means that if something changes, if this new framework and a standard picks the framework up and says, actually, it makes sense for all your people to come onto this site to be at a level 3, you'd still have the option to do a competency assessment to then bring your qualification into the level 3 into the new framework at level 3. If you do want to upgrade your qualification, your vertebrates and invertebrates will form part of the new qualification. You just need to do that competency assessment. And like I said, it's not going to take you off the road if you don't want it to. And it could be not a lengthy process. It might be a couple of hours having a professional discussion with someone. It might be a case of showing evidence of your work on an e-portfolio system. And then that just gets assessed for your qualification. That's open to discussion what a competency unit would be. But for a bridging, that's the most straightforward way to bridge from the current qualifications to the new qualifications. If you go on the right-hand side, this is new people into the industry. New people into the industry would do their vertebrates, invertebrates, and their competency assessment, and then they would get the new level 3 on the framework that way. Like I mentioned earlier, there is options to specialize at level 3 if you wanted to. Again, it might be that we just have a level 1, level 2, level 3 specialisms at level 4. It might be in the consultation process that people want to have some further training at level 3, but not necessarily want to do a level 4 qualification. So that's something that we would like feedback on. If you would like separate specialisms at level 3. Another myth: BPCA is going this alone and forcing the framework on the industry. Again, the BPCA has the steering group, which is responsible for BPCA and other members, but the steering group is built up of MPTA, RSPH, BPCA, and a number of businesses, both smaller businesses and larger businesses. We are looking to expand that steering group because we need more opinions within it, and more information being brought in from the industry. But it's open to everybody. The consultation is open to everybody, and the steering group, if you want to have your say and what we want to do with progressing these qualifications, then come speak to us, and we can sort that out. But in reality, it's an industry decision. Nothing will happen without the industry wanting it to. The new framework is just another money spinner for the BPCA. If anything, it's the opposite. The BPCA are going to put significant investment into this new qualification framework because the industry has said they want it. So we're gonna invest full-time staff into developing this qualification framework, but it also puts our current qualifications into the new framework. So our CAT and our field biologist would form part of the new framework. Now, because that framework sits with RSPH, it means that any qualification centre can deliver them qualifications as well. So yeah, it's not a money spinner. It's easiest to say. BPCA is making the level 3 easier for its members and divulging the level 3 in the process. Again, all the current qualifications will stand. They will form part of the new framework, and there will be an option to take your current qualification into the new qualification framework. So under this proposal, everyone is accounted for, and everyone has the option to either stay where they are or move into the new framework. It is your choice. BPCA is trying to take our qualifications away from us. Like I said earlier, it's not the case. We have grandfather rights qualifications because they sat at that level. We can't just grandfather rights the RSPH level 2 because we are building a new framework, which would need to bring that level 2 in line with a level 3. So we have to bring the industry with the qualification framework. But all the other qualifications, so if you currently have a level 2, nothing will change with that level 2 qualification because it forms part of the new level 3. That information will stay the same. Okay, consultation. Hopefully I've got time. Good. Consultation is ongoing. There's a couple more weeks to go. In a second, hopefully the poll questions will pop up. Please answer the poll questions so that we can take some data back from this. The framework consultation will go on for the next couple of weeks. Please go on and fill the form out. There are different questions for business owners and technicians and management. So when you go on, it'll ask you what you are. You just click the button and it'll give you a set of questions that are more tailored to you as a technician that would maybe not be so tailored to a business owner. It takes about 10 minutes to fill in. If you go on the BPCA website, click on the news, the consultation is at the top. So just go in there, fill out the consultation form, and that gives us really good insight into what we do moving forward. The more people that we can speak to, the better this is going to be for everybody. Like I say, then poll questions are on. Please answer them, and that'll just give us some information as to what you think of today, and I can go back and then do some work on them stats. Any questions? I hope there's questions.
Hi, John. I'm back. Yeah, there's a few that have come in, so I'm going to try and tie a couple of them into the one question. So similar-ish, and I think you did cover it just in those last slides, but just to go over it again, things like the current level 2, if say you've got a distinction, or if you've got the ATPM, the accredited exam, will all those things still be relevant?
Yes. So any current qualification, because the new framework takes into account all the current qualifications, then they will all still be relevant. And there will be an option for any of the current exams to be brought into line with the new qualification framework.
Yeah, it's an option, isn't it? It's not a case of, you have to do it.
No, it is an option. What it does is, if we have a new framework, it allows the industry to have a framework. So the industry, moving forward, anyone comes into the industry will have a framework they can work off. It gives the government and standard auditors, it gives them a framework. So if they want to set, if they say, well, an advanced technician should be level 4, we want advanced technicians doing advanced visits on our site, that clears that up. It gives the government really clear guidelines as to where people are qualified in the industry. Yeah, so things may change when the new framework comes in, but you will have an opportunity to either keep your current qualifications and just continue as you are, or if you want to move on to the new qualification framework, you can do.
Okay. And that would go for, like, for me, for example, I've got the diploma part 1, part 2, which was about 1,000 years ago. I'm assuming that will still be relevant.
Yeah, I'd say that's still a level 2. It can still be brought into the, it's only when you change levels it becomes a problem. So we're changing a level 2 to a level 3. That's when you need to do something to bring you up to a level 3 qualification, which in this case is a competency assessment that shows you are competent in being able to do a job at a level 3.
Yeah, and being, level 3, we think of level 2 qualifications, like health and safety stuff. It's a maybe half a day, maybe a day course with and half an hour exam. Whereas, our current level 2 is 6 full days, really intense, 3-hour exam, actually sitting at level that, we're not getting justice really from that kind of tag, is it? So I think the key is I say we, the industry, I'm not talking about BPCA, but the industry are doing this for industry to, raise that standard. We all talk about professionalism and we want to be considered more professional. We don't want to be known as always the rat man or rat lady or bedbug lady or whatever. We want to be, no, here's this professional to come and sort out my problem that's causing a public health, public safety issue. So, creating these frameworks is a way to be able to recognize that in a more official capacity rather than just trying to convince people. I think my personal opinion is that as well.
I think that competency unit, and again, it's not just theory exams. When we did the consultation in 2020, everything at the minute is theory based. Bringing that practical element in, it gives you some skills. So you're actually going to have to learn some skills before you can do the qualification. So it just makes the pest controller a more professional standpoint, and then we're assessing more professionally because we're actually assessing what we do as a job, not just on the knowledge that we've learned.
I mean, we're a couple of minutes over, but I think I want to give another few minutes to it. Just I think it's an important subject. We've got another 8 questions in there. I won't better get through all of them. So I'm going to try and pick one that maybe will be relevant to, important for everybody. Let me have a look. So could the competency unit be based on time served, i.e. level 3 is awarded after a minimum period following the award of the old level 2? Does that make sense?
There would need to be an assessment of some sort. So ideally, time served is great. We just need to be able to assess that. We couldn't really use CPD, and that was something that had been thought about. Just because the way it's evidenced, I don't think would allow us to be able to create a portfolio for a new qualification. It's probably going to take too long and be too long in way of doing it. Time served is something we need to recognize. It's just how do we do that so we can put it into an assessment form, and that's kind of information that we need. That's something that we could really do with is, we've got all this knowledge and, I've been doing it 15 years. How do I get that knowledge into a way that someone can assess it so that I can have, my qualifications upgraded onto the new framework? I'm mindful of that because I'm passionate about my qualifications. I did my advanced 12 years ago, and I want to keep my qualifications. So, it's for the industry, and it means a lot to me as well personally, because I've spent a lot of time in pest control, and my qualifications matters just the same as everyone else's.
That's it. There's still a few more questions. So we've got 9 in there. I do need to just move on to the closing comments. But would you be able to do some typing of answers? I think if you do that as well, the whole group can see those answers, and anything we've got left over, we can maybe get an email out afterwards, can't we?
Yeah, and I'll try and put a video out. I'm sure we can try and create a thing for the questions, and I'll try and get a video out if there's anything that needs answering with a good answer or a long-winded answer.
Fabulous. All right, thank you, John. That was really comprehensive. And there's lots of questions around it, but good job. Thank you.
Speak soon.
Cheers, John.
Thanks, everyone.
Just my final comment on that. I think with the questions still coming in and that we've had, and the comments that have been had, and the suggestions that maybe are coming up, the consultation that is still in that phase. We want to know your thoughts. We want to know what the issues are, as well as you being able to get the answers to the things that you might have going around your mind in terms of, you know, the problems or solutions to certain things. We want to know those thoughts. So please, like, sign up to those consultations. The link is in the chat section. This is important for everyone, you know, so we've got lots of questions, so it's clearly important to everybody. So yeah, get on there and give us that feedback, because yeah, you're the ones that this affects. So tell us what you think. Okay. Good. Okay, so sorry I couldn't get to those last. There's 10 questions in there now, but as I said, need to make sure. I'm sure everybody's got things we need to do this afternoon. So just wanted to move on to Scott Johnston is going to be talking to us today about industry updates and association news. You all right, Scott?
Thanks, Nat. Yep. I'm filling in for Ian today. He's stuck in meetings. So he's asked me to go through his notes and give a quick industry update and let you know about everything that's happening in BPCA at the moment. So I'll try and whiz through because we are a couple of minutes behind, I think.
Yeah, good stuff. I'll leave you to it. I'm going to say bye to everybody. And yeah, thank you to all of the speakers from me, but I'll catch you all soon. Thanks, Scott.
Cheers, Nat. Okay, so thank you everybody for tuning in today. I just want to add my thoughts in about the qualifications framework too. You've heard a lot from John, and you can see that this is obviously an important thing for the sector. The framework consultation is open. We've had about 200 responses so far, so please do get your thoughts in. That link is in the chat, or it's bpca.org.uk/framework to fill in that consultation. I'm going to give you a quick glue boards update. I'm sure many people will be fed up of hearing about glue boards. It has been a fairly exhausting couple of years talking about glue boards, but where we stand at the moment is that glue boards continue to be banned in Wales completely and are only available under license in England. There is some legislation in Scotland, but it's not been enacted yet. So we're still pushing for a licensing scheme. In Scotland, the legislation allows for some sort of professional use in emergency situations, but we still need to prove that need for a professional licensing scheme. There's no plans for Northern Ireland for any new legislation, nothing that we're aware of at the moment. So we're not anticipating any changes for Northern Ireland. What we're working on now is looking to close the loophole in England, where effectively the use of rodent glue boards is banned, but the sale isn't, which is a ridiculous situation to be in. The communication around the legislation has been pretty poor to the general public and to retailers. So we're in a situation where there's very few people using glue boards in the professional sector, but the amateur sector is effectively potentially still using these rodent glue boards, not knowing that there is a law, that there is a change in legislation. So what we want to do is try and campaign for the sale of rodent glue boards to be banned for everybody except for professional users using them under licenses. So that's kind of the next stage of our work on glue boards. A better update, a more exciting update potentially, is that our academic relations working group has started doing some really exciting work with universities that offer animal biology, zoology, and environmental health degrees. So they've put together loads of projects around pest control, and they have sent them out to these different university departments looking for students that are willing to kind of roll up their sleeves and learn a little bit about pest management and produce some decent research for the sector. We can be pretty poor on research and data as a rule as a sector, and through this new working group, we hope that we're going to build up all the resources that we need to help protect your toolkit for years to come. So it's a bit of a slow process. It'll take a while for all of these projects to get done. But if that sounds like something that you're interested in, or something that you're excited by, or you'd like to get involved in helping these students with their research, please let us know. Email us at membership@bpca.org.uk and let us know that you want to join this academic relations working group, because it's really going to be some interesting work, and we'll be sharing the results of that research as it trickles in. Another exciting thing that's going on, our Best Pest picture competition is live again. So this is where you get to submit your pest management photographs, and the best one will win a prize of £500. It's a really cool competition. The short list or the long list of runners up will all be exhibited at PPC Live on easels. It's really cool seeing them, 10-15 pictures all in a row submitted by the sector. So effectively, any photograph that shows public health pest control in the best possible light, submit your pictures. You might win a fantastic prize. The details on that competition are at bpca.org.uk/best-pest-pick. So some updates for members. There's a couple of new member benefits live now that you might be interested in or you might have missed. So BPCA members can now get enhanced car and van leasing offers from our new partner at Easy Leasing. There's some really amazing discounts on there. A couple of members have already put the new benefit to the test and have made some real savings on van leasing. I believe they also do van sales as well. So definitely, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, head over to bpca.org.uk/benefits. It's a great area of the website. There's loads of membership benefits on there. If you've not been for a while, do have a look through and see if you could save some money with your membership. We've also released a new equality, diversity and inclusion guidance document which was created by our EDI committee. And it's basically aims at helping you recruit people from underrepresented groups. It's full of case studies and what other members are doing. It's a really interesting document. It's great for recording a bit of CPD as well if you are responsible for supervising or recruiting pest controllers. Definitely have a look. That's available in our member library, which is bpca.org.uk/library. I've got a couple of training courses to tell you about. We've got our Introduction to Wildlife course, which is running on the 29th of October. That's an online classroom course. We've got our Steps to Leadership course, which runs across the 4th and 11th of November. So you take part in both of those days. You take your learning from the 4th, you apply that over a week, and then you come back and feedback on the 11th. And that course is perfect for any new managers, new supervisors, people who are looking to move up into a leadership position in your organization, or people that have just been in leadership positions and never had any formal training. So definitely take a look at that Steps to Leadership course. We've also got our bird management course and assessment. That's going to be on the 14th of November. So that does have an accreditation at the end of it as well. So if you're looking at bird management, if you're thinking about offering that as a service, potentially that bird management course is perfect for you. If you are one of the people on this call that is a sole trader, we've got a special roundtable event for sole traders on the 24th of October. And effectively, we're trying to pull together as many sole traders as possible to hear about how BPCA could best support you and make your voice heard. We know it's difficult for sole traders to get involved in their association. It is more difficult. So we just want to hear how we can be more representative of you. You can join that event. It's an online event. It'll be an hour long. It's on the 24th of October, and you can find that at bpca.org.uk/events. I think we've got our second to last webinar of the year running next month on the 13th of November, and that's part of the rodents in controlling rodents series that we've been doing. So this one is specifically around rodents in flats and multi-occupancy buildings. So that's a member-only webinar. It's an hour long. Come along, join in. I think Natalie's delivering that one. Our last forum of the year in person is going to be in Leeds, and that's on the 27th of November. So that's half a day of learning. So if you happen to be in the Leeds area, come along to the Leeds Forum on the 27th of November. It's a great opportunity for you to meet up with your manufacturers and distributors. They all exhibit there. There'll be some more talks and more kind of hands-on sessions than we can do online. So that's 27th of November. And then the final thing that I need to tout today is that the registration for PPC Live is now open. PPC Live will return next year. It'll be in Harrogate at the Yorkshire Event Centre again. It's going to be on the 19th of March 2025. Do save the dates, do come along. It really is the most interesting trade show I've ever been to. It's very hands-on. There is lots to do, lots of practical sessions. It's inside, it's outside. The Yorkshire Event Centre is beautiful. It's worth coming down for that one-day event. There'll be 100 exhibitors-ish there for you to wander around. There's so much going on. If you're going to go to one event next year, try and make it PPC Live in Harrogate in March. That is all of my industry and BPCA updates. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Killgerm. Thank you for sponsoring these events. It really does help us out. And thanks again to all those amazing speakers as well. So we've had Richard Mosley from Syngenta talking about ants. Dave Archer has been talking to you about squirrel control. Avril Turner from Killgerm on evidencing pest activity, and obviously John and Natalie as well, giving their joining in and getting this event working. So thank you everybody who has joined us today. Really appreciate you coming along and seeing what we have to talk about, and have a fantastic afternoon.